it was amazing once I was up there, kind of tossed and turned. I'm like, shouldn't I? Do these people even want me anywhere near this man, or are they all just drooling over his playing? What's the sit? But I'm very glad I did, because I get to say I played with which is awesome, because he's awesome.
Hey, Emma, what drum kit do you use?
Am I too old to start playing drums?
Should I get lessons?
How do I play that?
cost
When
so
will I
much?
start sounding good?
What's up, party people? Welcome to Missing a Beat with me, your host. Sounds like Emma, or Love to Learn Drums.
We're going to have a little chat about the drum show, how that experience was for you, and just taking everything from what has been online for 2 years, where we've met 3-4 times, tops, right?
Yeah.
And then gone into the open world from your bedroom, which has been where you spend your night and days, to us then going to a drum show where a substantial amount of people knew who you are and Love to Learn Drums and what we were doing. Yeah, the first thing I guess to talk about was just you kind of was second up on the Hit Like a Girl lounge stage where you did your performance.
So the whole reason I was at the UK Drum Show was to do a small slot on the UK Drum Show, not UK Drum Show, the Hit Like a Girl stage, which, if you don't know, Hit Like a Girl is a music charity specifically for women, but I think they're now branching out into just younger people and people in general, I think. I'm not really sure. But it is a really cool charity. And they basically asked me to come on and do some talking, do some playing. And I did. It's probably only the second masterclass I've ever done. So that's the only time I've been out in the real world talking about drums in front of people. And it went surprisingly well. I say surprisingly well. I should be nicer to myself. But I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know how many people were going to be in the room. It was really cool because it was just nice to see some real people and actually get some real feedback from people who actually knew who I was, which is the other interesting part. But yeah, before that, I made the mistake of joining in with, what was it called again? The
Pound Fit class.
I made the mistake of joining in with the Pound Fit class, and I was a mess by the end of it. I was exhausted and in outfit and makeup and sweaty, and it was a bad choice. It was not a good look. So I had to look really weak halfway through and just sit down and go, no, I've got to save myself for my performance, obviously, because it takes so much out of me. It's one song. It takes so much out of me. But yeah, that was really fun.
It was surprisingly hard work, right? When you look at it on YouTube, it looks okay. You're like, okay, yeah, cool. That looks like a thing. That looks, but 5 minutes in, the end of the first song, you're like, how am I going to do this for another 25 minutes? It was intense.
I was a mess.
Right? Really
I was
intense.
a mess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was more worried about the sweat because I was like, I've only got one T-shirt with my logo on, and I've got to make this thing last for a whole weekend, so people know who I am clearly. So it was more thinking ahead that made me stop, obviously. But yeah, that was really good. And then I didn't feel too nervous for the performance, because the song itself I've played 1,000 times, and I was actually on an electric kit, so I felt pretty comfortable because obviously here at home I'm playing electric kit most of the time. So that made me feel a lot better too. And one of the songs I performed with Alona, who, if you don't know, I'm in a band with, called Alona Mayu. And she also is lovely and is part of the team and does admin for us, and she was there. And she sung one of our songs as well. So that was a lot of fun too.
How was it meeting everybody afterwards? Because I think most of the people in the audience for that knew me well already.
Actually seeing people face to face and getting real time feedback and getting people actually saying to you what impact your videos have had on them, or how it's actually helped them play or made them start playing or made them buy a drum kit. Just the impact it's had has been really awesome, and it helps kind of keep the fire lit in terms of keeping going and knowing what people want in future and what works for people, because obviously for the last 2 years I've just been here in this room doing what I do. And it seems to be going well, but it's hard to tell sometimes. It's just some numbers at the end of the day. So yeah, and getting like it's the kind of funny thing of starting to feel that, I guess the best word is like celebrity factor, where people want to take photos with you. But yeah, it was just overall a wonderful experience.
My standout bit from the whole thing, which I just thought summed up, I guess, the way in which you approach things and your ethos to music and playing drums and being a musician, and not taking it too seriously, but still having fun, still being professional, but also not getting too hit up, was when somebody asked a question about how do you recover from the States. You answered it, try and keep going. You're like, I'm going to be honest, I probably just go, and then Alona comes on stage 5 minutes later to perform the song that you guys wrote first, when the band first started, played the most amount of times. And then she sang the whole lyrics, right? She just sang, and so your harmonies didn't, like, they just obviously clashed a little bit. And literally what you said would happen, you screaming down the mic, if that happens, is what happened. And it was,
I may or may not have done that for emphasis.
Yes, I know. I think, and that was what was funny about it. I think everyone kind of just that, but that overall vibe to just be that thing. There was quite a lot of young drummers in there as well that really look up to you.
Yeah, no, that was really nice too.
So important that you can have the humility to just do that. And yes, you overemphasized it for the dramatics of the thing that just happened, but it doesn't matter, because for them, they're going to walk away going, it doesn't matter if I make a mistake, therefore I should keep going and not worry about it so much.
Literally it's about being human. That's the thing, because I think so much on social media, it's like it's all about the perfection and getting it right all the time.
Exactly.
But learning an instrument, you've got to mess up constantly. And people still do in professional environments. They still fluff up. They're just really good at covering it. In fact, if I hadn't said anything, most people probably wouldn't noticed doing that in real time. In fact, what I did was bad practice, because I shouldn't have made noise at all.
No, but I think
it gets the point across.
It does. And also, like, it was just very fitting for the moment, right? I think, I've got to be honest, I didn't actually know what went wrong when it went wrong. I just knew that it went, and I was like, cool, okay. I knew something had gone slightly wrong. I could see that, because the look on your faces when you looked at each other, and then you kind of...
I am terrible for not showing when things go wrong. I have always been terrible. Since I was a kid, I would give people such a dirty look. I was so, like, that's just giving people eyes across a stage or whatever. I used to do this as a kid to older people who were because I used to do a rock band thing where I was doing lessons, and they were like literally retired dudes, and I would give them evils when they messed up, because I was like, no, do better. I know you've done something wrong. But also when I messed up my own stuff, I definitely like, oh God. But there's nothing more obvious to people than doing that. I think there's a fine balance, because sometimes, I don't know if this is just my own awkwardness or cringiness or whatever, but it's like, if you laugh at a mistake, and this is how I feel about performing in general, if you look like you're having a good time and it's all fine and everything is fine, the people on the stage are setting the tone for the audience. So if you look like you're having a good time, even if you mess up and you show some humility, some humanness, like, people relate to that and connect to it even more. In fact, especially, I don't know if this is a British culture thing, but people root for the underdog as well. So if you mess up, people are usually like, oh, go on. Like, or they feel better about themselves. So either way, it's kind of a win-win.
For anyone that's out there that's worried about performing, just go and enjoy it. And remember, the audience is there to have fun. That's what it is. They're not there to see a perfect performance.
The odd person who's going to be like, that wasn't perfect, yada, yada, yada. I feel for them, because they must have not a great time, and they must be really fun at parties. So,
should we move on to then some of the other things that happened? Obviously, so you've talked about like meeting fans, and that was an interesting one. That was expected after the performance. People come up to you, and that's cool. But then we went out into the public area, and everybody came up to you. In fact, 30 seconds we've been walking in when we was doing sound check, somebody come up to you, a minute later, another person came up to you, right? And you couldn't even get to sound check. So yeah, how was that? What do you remember from it? And
I mean, it was great. Again, it's just getting to meet real people and seeing the impact what I do has. It's just an amazing feeling. Sometimes it is a little tricky because, I mean, it's not like you don't really have anything to say. So it's a lot about just listening to what other people have to say and being grateful for it. I don't know how people like Grayson, who must have people just coming up to him all the time, just being like, "Oh my God, you're the best drummer of all time. That's amazing. Oh my God." Man's 21. How, I don't know. I'm not sure how his process is on that.
Yeah.
I only mentioned Grayson because I walked into him later on when I was just getting a drink or whatever, and he was there. Fortunately, we have a mutual friend, which is Mia, so we kind of connected on that front, which is wonderful. But yeah, it was just really nice getting to actually see people and being able to say thank you to people in real life.
On the flip side to this, though, you just mentioned Grayson, like, and meeting him. So it's like you've gone from the side of fans meeting you to then you're meeting somebody that's obviously much more well known in you and established.
That I'm a fan of. Yeah.
That you're a fan of. Yeah, and who is a fantastic drummer, right? And so, and then you talked to him, and obviously he knew who you were, which was cool. And I suggested you to go and play with him. A little bit of hesitancy there. I physically kicked you on the stage with him. You started playing together. How was that experience? All of a sudden, thrown on.
That was amazing. That was really cool. It's one of those, like, if I hadn't have met him beforehand, I would have never have even thought about doing that, just from a sake of who the hell am I?
Yeah, exactly. No, of course. No, it was only because I wouldn't have pushed it otherwise.
Yeah, I know.
We were to go out and and stuff. So
yeah. I'm glad you did, but it was I wouldn't say awkward, but it was like, it was amazing once I was up there. But that kind of toss and turn of like, shouldn't I? Do these people even want me anywhere near this man, or are they all just drooling over his playing? What's the sitch? But I'm very glad I did, because I get to say I played with Grayson, which is awesome because he's awesome. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was kind of, he did most of the work, honestly. I was just noodling, and he was coming up with stuff. And there was that one moment where I was doing like a single-handed thing, where I was able to do it faster. But I think what happened, and I'm going to untoot my own horn here, is a classic, like, you know, when you go in to do a single stroke or something and you just catch it wrong, and once you started, you can't stop to reset your hand and like do it again. So I think that's what happened. I'm not even going to, like, after I saw his performance later on, I was like, no, man was just not warmed up. I've got nothing on this bloke. Nothing.
Yeah, you just got on the stage, right? You're like, I just got on stage, I've been playing, I'm all good. Right, let's see how fast you can play now then.
Now that you're cold. Yeah. That was awesome. That was really cool. And the fact that he takes so much joy in it, and like it's so much easier to bounce off of. I obviously enjoy playing and have a lot of joy with it, but having someone who also has that, it just amplifies it instantly. So it was a lot of fun. Very inspirational, isn't it? He literally loves and breathes it. You can just, it oozes out of him. And then there was obviously the fun thing after that. He pulled you aside. You had the little phone call with a certain person. God, yeah, that was unexpected. Out of everything that happened, I wasn't expecting to really meet Grayson in the first place, let alone spend the day with him, let alone then have him tell me that, number one, he's friends with John Stamos. Wasn't that much of a surprise. If you don't know who John Stamos was, which I was a bit foggy on, he's that one of the people from Full House, which again, I'm still foggy on because I don't watch much TV, but I knew of, right? So that was like, what? Okay, that's really cool, but it makes sense. You know him because, I guess, sure, anything's possible. And it turns out he's a drummer, and they're just friends through that. And then Grayson just turns to me and said, he's just said he's a huge fan of mine. And I was like, what? Hang on a minute. What? How does this person who is 1,000 times more famous than me know who I am? What? And then he goes, I'll call him so you can talk to him, FaceTime him. And so we end up sat on this sofa, unexpectedly face to face with John Stamos, man who I know vaguely of, but now he is famous. Seems lovely, but knows of me, which is really surreal. Having someone who is some known celebrity know who you are is an odd feeling, and I've never had that before up until that very moment. And he literally, it was so funny because he basically said, a real drummer, obviously. He's friends and talking to Grayson, who is headlining the UK drum show. So I like the compliments. Keep them coming, but it was really funny. But I couldn't hear him very well because obviously the UK drum show has a lot of drums. So it's very
that
loud.
was tough, wasn't it? Yeah, it was really tough.
That was an experience in and of itself. I have never experienced that much noise in my life. And I've been to loud concerts, I've been to all sorts of stuff, but to have so much, the only way I can describe it is like tuned noise, like perfectly hammered, perfectly tuned, all of this, so much musicality in such a mess at the same time. And I remember I had earplugs in for most of the day, but I took my earplugs out for a moment, and it was so loud that I nearly started crying. Not because I was like, there was nothing going on emotionally. I wasn't in turmoil. It was just so overwhelming a sound that it was like, whoa, whoa. So that was awesome as well. That was really good. Even that experience alone was really cool. I'm excited for NAMM in that respect. That's going to be interesting. But that's all instruments, so it's going to be a bit more of a mess, probably.
I don't know. I'm interested. I actually don't know what to expect, and I kind of don't want to know.
If people don't know what NAMM is, I've forgotten what the actual acronym means, but it's effectively a huge music convention in Anaheim in California that happens. Is it every year? I think it's every year.
Yeah, every year. Founded in 1901, NAMM, National Association of Music Merchants, has a mission to strengthen the music product industry and promote pleasures or benefits of making music. So
originally it started off as like a convention where businesses meet each other and do deals, but it's become more of a kind of, you just go along as a punter and have a look.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be as noisy as the dancer. And it really, like, just reiterate what you said, Emma, it sounds a bit ridiculous if you haven't been in the room, but I've never felt so overwhelmed before. And I don't know how to explain it. And it was like, wasn't it? It was really a lot. And actually everyone we were with had to go outside of the venue a couple of times throughout the day. Like, that's how overwhelming this was. It was just extreme. And obviously because there's all these drums playing at once in this big room. And we'd been to Paris one the year before, which was still, quite busy, but nothing on this.
It's tiny compared.
Well, I've been to drum shows lots. This is not my third, but this was the first time. I think it was just the way that the room was laid out, the noise. It was like, and I'm not saying it's negative. It was just an experience, wasn't it? It was like overwhelming.
I think there's also something to be said for the fact that it's well-tuned percussion. So they're built to have impact anyway.
Yeah.
They're built to do something and have certain frequencies that hit you in a certain way. So I'm not surprised that it had extra oomph to it.
Yeah. But as a drummer, if you can get over to it, I would definitely recommend going. Being there, just seeing all these drummers, everyone playing, and there's things like the drummers and drummer Oki, which we managed to just squeeze you on stage for, right? And that was just really cool because you got two different drummers play. They put headphones on so that you can hear the full band, and you get to go and play with a professional band. And for some people, they might have done that, but for other people, they haven't ever done that. He's had that experience.
I'm so excited to see the footage back from that because
Me too.
So Drummers on Drummyoki was my favourite thing by far, and that's saying it as if I didn't also meet really cool people and also do a performance and all of that. But I think what I loved about it was the fact that you could just let loose and just play and do your thing. There was no expectation, and it's not a social thing. It's just like, they literally had it set up with a list of songs you could pick from. I picked Sledgehammer because why wouldn't you? Iconic. And it was just a blast. It was amazing. It was like a kind of pressure valve kind of release to me. Like just being able to go, okay, cool. Because, yeah, it's, I don't know, it was just awesome, really cool. And being it, like, having the headphones for everybody as well, when the whole room is so loud so you can actually hear what's going on. Oh, it's amazing. It was the best idea. Whoever came up with that, amazing. I really want to get that footage back. I want to see it so bad. I want to hear it. Because God forbid, I could sing the praises of this and then get it back and go, oh, God, I'm so
that's well, right? It doesn't even matter, actually. None of that really matters because it's the experience that you have doing that, right? They're creating a great experience for people that often you wouldn't get access to that experience. Yeah. And so, the audience in front of you.
Yeah, you, with just drums, there's a lot of just drums. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And drums have a certain specific job in a band. It's supposed to be part of a band. So seeing it in its kind of natural environment, in context, it just made it so much more engaging because that was the only live music that was going on, really. Most of the drummers, I suspect, are just a track. Yeah. So that in and of itself makes it really cool.
UK Drum Show, definitely worth going to.
Nailed it. Took us a week to recover.
Yeah. And the rest. Yeah, it did. It was a lot to take in, wasn't it? I mean, we had so many different things happen to try and...
It was full on for so many mostly because of the meeting real people and getting context for the progress that everything has made.
Yeah, you needed to digest that. Like it was that for all of us, you know, on the team, actually meeting people and just seeing the interactions, and it's why we've been discussing about doing some kind of show sometime soon.
Not only that, but obviously people listening to this probably don't understand the back end of the business and how it all happens. We had never met all the team all together, ever.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. We never knew it. We might all meet each other and hate each other. Obviously, me and Chris had met a couple times in person, but still, most of it has been over Zoom and stuff like that. So meeting everyone together and seeing it work was a fantastic feeling as well. And I was very grateful for that. It was like, oh my God, this is very right. This is very good.
Anything else you wanted to add?
Thanks to everyone who showed up, if they're listening to this. It was awesome. I'd love to see more and more people just to kind of, again, get real feedback from people and be able to say thank you in person to people. I'd love to be able to do something with members at some point as well. Yeah. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be good.
But yeah, I'm excited for NAMM. That's the big one. I'm thrilled. I was looking for an excuse to go to America and it has arrived. So look out, Americans. I'm about to take over. All right. Wow. I've got to go do some stuff. Big love. If you're in the mood to continue your binge watching session of us talking about musical things, then feel free to check out this video or maybe even this one. I leave that decision up to you. Have a great day.